Why do you think it is so many former liberals are now leaving the left?
I mean, people switch parties and ideologies.
Not happening the other way around.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
like Anna where's a big right-wing pundit who joined the liberal network, like Anna Kasparian announcing she's leaving the left? You know what I mean? Or Dave Rubin.
I mean, listen, if you want to say that these are like the intellectual pillars of...
No, certainly not. I'm saying something's causing an emotional rift that makes people not want to be on the left anymore.
Well, I would suggest it's probably cash. I mean,
like you said, Kasparian wanted money?
She said as much, as far as I know, in the past on TYT.
She said she would make more money by being not leftist.
I don't know if she said that. But I know that on her show on TYT, they have she's complained about not making money. I don't know why she's
still on TYT. Like, aren't they going to lose members who are progressives?
I got to be honest with you. I don't really pay that much attention to like showbiz.
Well, so outside of her, why are there so many people? Like, you had the meme from Colin Wright where it shows the left going all the way to the far left and liberals being like, what's happening?
I don't know who Colin Wright is.
Sure. There's many prominent personalities who used to be liberals and now identify as moderates or disaffected liberals or post-liberal.
Like you're saying, like a substantial amount to like sway an election?
Most charitable manner, right? It's easy and cavalier to say it's cash. And I think it all does boil down to that. But I also think one reason why you see people leave the left and run to the right, and you don't see too many people leave the right and run to the left, you might see them run to the mainstream Democratic Party, which is the new right, the Reagan right. But you're not going to see them run to the left, right? So I don't want to hear about Joe Scarborough being an example or Chris Christie being an example, right? What happens is, as you gain prominence as a left commentator, as a left media figure, right? We've talked about it. You gain the privilege of being an advocate instead of somebody who needs advocacy, right? You are no longer impacted in a material way by any of the things you're discussing. That's why Anna Kasparian stopped caring about anything tangible except for what immediately impacted her. Homeless people, crime, trans women somehow invalidating her perception of womanhood, the birthing person things, these very mild, totally superfluous things, frankly, when you're talking about it from Anna Kasparian's perspective, how they impact her life, right? Like way more serious to think about how being unhoused impacts an unhoused person, being a vulnerable, mentally unwell person on the streets, a lot harder than having to look at one, right? And so what happens is, as you get moved further and further away from the issues that you're closest to, right? You run to the coast, you start hanging out with a bunch of rich people because you're rich now. You want to go to nice restaurants. You want to have a Versace bag, and it makes you feel uncomfortable if you're hanging out with people who can't afford Versace bags. So you move yourself into a different social circle, and those people then rub off on you, and then you will start to indulge in your reactionary thoughts because you're not anchored to any kind of collectivism or solidarity, and it moves yourself. And then that's all lubricated. That's all aided by the fact that you're now awash with cash, and you're being celebrated by a new demographic, which always makes you feel good.
Yep. Also, I mean, Sam Seder is just 100% right. They do it for money. Yeah, Tim Pool knows that as well as any of these grifters. He knows how phenomenally wealthy being a right-wing commentator has made him. We just found out about the tenant media thing. How much money was he getting paid per video? Like $100,000? They're not offering that to left-wingers. They're not offering that to left-wing commentators. And also, yeah, Anna, over and over again on her own show, this isn't us, reading her body language. No, she has said it multiple times. We have reacted to it multiple times. I don't make enough money. I want to make more money. I'm jealous of other people and other colleagues, other people who used to work at TYT, who left TYT and now make more money being right-wing grifters, right? This is something she's identified. Go back and watch her videos where she talked about Dave Rubin leaving the left, and she understood this at the time. She talks about it in those videos. She says, yeah, of course he's doing this because the left is not where the money is at. The money's on the right. It's easy as hell to make a shit ton of money being a brain-dead, talentless, right-wing hack commentator. Tim Pool has no talent. Tim Pool is barely compelling to listen to. Same with Dave Rubin, but they're way, way richer than people on the left who are genuinely talented and who are actually compelling commentators.
Even Jimmy is probably richer than Anna at this point, which
Oh, yeah.
shows how low the bar is because he's utterly talentless. But we can play the rest of this because I bet it gets better.
Or
Elon
what do you-
Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not going to call them
Why
progressives.
are billionaires becoming conservatives?
I didn't say they're becoming conservatives.
Why are billionaires
Who were previously supporting Democrat politicians now aligning with.
well, I would say, I mean, when you're talking about Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, I would say Lena Khan, head of the FTC. I would say John Cantor at the DOJ antitrust.
Why? So
I think money.
I agree with you
money,
absolutely.
Money is
I think
threatened by any type of sort of liberal stuff.
but why did they support Democrats before?
Why did they?
Yeah.
Well, because I think the Democrats
We're
went through
failing,
a period of neoliberalism, and Joe Biden, frankly, ended that.
I'll give. Well,
there's a
let me-
ton
let
of
me-
never Trumpers
Sure.
in the Republican Party.
I agree.
I don't necessarily
No.
want them to influence
Right.
our policy.
I'll
but
completely agree with you
I
on the
disagree
Musk
with your assessment. You're just looking at
right. No, you're
Dave
completely
Rubin
right
and Anna
about
Kasparian
Zuckerberg.
as some type of measure of stuff.
But you've got people like Eric
Backpedaling
Weinstein, for
so
instance, who says the craziness primarily coming from the left.
Oh
Well,
my God, Eric Weinstein. Another thing I think we have to talk about in this context is like something I feel like most people understand in their normal lives, which is that, yeah, unfortunately, sometimes a result of aging is resentment and bitterness and feeling like I'm no longer the young Turk, in this instance, quite literally. Anna, for the longest time, she was considered the leftiest lefty on YouTube. No one was a more lefty commentator than Anna Kasparian, right? But all of a sudden, now there's younger, newer, and leftier channels out there. People like us and commentators like Olayemi Olorin, who all of a sudden are saying things that Anna's like, well, I don't know if I'm comfortable with this. I don't know if I'm this progressive. I don't know if I'm this left wing. And all of a sudden that creates a dynamic where it's like, oh shit, I'm not the leftiest person anymore. Now I have this left flank that's calling me out or that's criticizing me. And what do you do in reaction to that? Well, if you're a cringy, bitter Karen like Anna Kasparian, then you readjust your entire politics in a reactionary way. That's what we've seen happen. But again, this happens to people who are commentators and just normal folks as they get older. Oftentimes bitterness and simply being out of touch leads them towards the right wing, right? The less you associate with young people after you graduated school and you're kind of in your own bubble, in your echo chamber, yeah, all of a sudden you're not getting exposed to new culture, to new ideas, to new ways of progressive thinking. And you do become stuck in your ways. And again, that oftentimes leads to a reactionary outlook where you think, oh, my generation was the last one to understand society. My generation was the last one to understand a true vision of progressivism. And anything to the left of that is now a crazy, this is just young Zoomers who want to take this off the cliff or something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And we actually have some breaking news, everybody. Let's take a look here. It looks like Cenk Uygur saw the clip we just reacted to and has come out swinging. At this point, Sam Seder is just a gross liar. Anna never said she wants to leave the left for money. When he's pressed on it, he claims ignorance. Then why did you lie about it? We've lost subscribers and money because we acted out of principle, something Sam wouldn't understand. I ran for Congress. I busted a union. I ran a failed presidency for campaign for presidency, okay? It ran our network into the ground, okay? And that's why my co-host is leaving. And that's why she's running to the right, okay? It ain't because of anything else.
This is so embarrassing. Holy shit. Thank you for finding this, Zach. Crazy stuff. So now Cenk has entered the ring. We have a full-on lefty civil war. Cenk Uygur versus Sam Seder. Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian versus Sam Seder.
And the Vanguard.
This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. And obviously, Cenk is, he's freaking out because he knows that Sam is 100% correct. And he, can you go back to the tree real quick? Sorry. Yeah. So, obviously Sam Seder is correct, but he has to now perform this outrage and pretend to call out Sam Seder and defend Anna Kasparian, even though Sam is just saying what we all obviously know. Even Cenk knows what's happening. You can see it in his body language. You can see it in the way he responds to Anna's BS talking points like we did earlier in the show. He knows what's going on, but for whatever reason, instead of doing what needs to be done, he's going to keep defending her until she really, truly does take the whole network down with her.
Anywhere you go, I'll follow you too. I'll follow you down.
Wow, that's crazy though.
Yeah. Anyway, we can play the rest of this if we have any. But yeah, it doesn't look like Cenk's followed up at all. I was making sure he didn't reply to his own tweet. Oh, actually, he did. Finally, I was like, I want to make sure we get all the Cenk tweets, but in case he deletes anything. This is the dumbest point in the world. At this point, you are just a grifter, asshat. He says, this is the dumbest point in the world. How is losing money out of principle a grift? This is exactly what we did in the Obama years, too. We lost a lot of subscribers because we criticized Obama from the left. We do these things because we care what's true. A novel concept. Yep. I love it when you criticize Trump from the left, too. You're like, hey, is he a fascist? I don't think so. I don't even think he's a wannabe dictator. Half of your, network, Cenk, your co-host, yeah, she's not a progressive. So you don't get to call yourself the home of progressives and then melt down when people criticize you for not being progressive. Rebrand. Call yourself Cenk and Anna Network. Call yourself the left is too left for me. Call yourself the fence-sitting post. I don't care.
Yeah, 100%. That's crazy. Again, because you're a failed grifter. Because Anna's a failed grifter. She's not good at doing what she's trying to do. But guess what? She's still going to become phenomenally wealthy. Not so much you, Cenk. TYT is not going to ultimately be the one who benefits financially from what Anna Kasparian is doing. Anna Kasparian is going to be the one who benefits. You're just too stupid to see it right now, and you still think you can somehow turn this into a W for your own network, which is the real delusional thing about this. Cenk, Anna is leaving you. She's leaving TYT. The marriage is ended, bro. She's already contacted a divorce lawyer, and you're still out here defending her wretched behavior. You're still out here defending the indefensible and gaslighting everyone, including totally reasonable people like Sam Seder. This is absolutely outrageous, Cenk. You have to rip the Band-Aid off at some point. You have to realize that you cannot go down with her. You cannot. Save yourself. Save TYT. There's still time. What is this?